So yesterday we discussed about translation, probably how to do it, how not to do it. And today let's see about localization, because Winston also yesterday talked couple of times, he mentioned about localization. So what it is. So when we heard about the term localization, do we understand anything? What it may be? So we all know what globalization is, right? It's an integration of world economies, politics, but actually initially it was proposed as a phenomena for the economic change. Later on we extended its meaning to culture and all, language and all other things, but it started as an economic phenomena. It's an economist, German economist, who actually proposed the term in his paper, The Globalization of Market. In the paper he proposed this term. So that means there will be no political or geographical barrier when you want to set up a market, sell a product. But though the term was proposed in 1980s, this whole idea of globalization has been going on. We all know how the Silk Route was operated from China via India to Middle East, right? The spice route was operated from South Indian ports to Middle Eastern ports. We all know that. See, that time only that movement of goods, the trade was happening. So people must be exchanging goods, or people must be paying for those goods in their own currency, or some kind of mechanism was there. Even when Yuan Shang, the famous Chinese monk, traveled to India, he took the route of Silk Route only. So all those things were happening, and that part is called archaic globalization. Though the term came much before 1980s, actually the phenomenon of globalization was going on. Then next stage came is the proto-globalization. Then European explorer Portuguese, when they were searching for India, they reached United States. All these things were happening. Portuguese came here, set up their colony, then France, then British. This is the part of proto-globalization. Just a brief. Because why I actually put this slide, because when we say that the localization, people think that something opposite to globalization. Then the first globalization, 1870 to 1914, that just ended before the First World War. Then second globalization, it is just after Second World War to 1971, and this period is very important if you see in the present context. When the Second World War ended, around 44-45, US dropped 2 bombs, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and kind of said that we are the power of the world. Right? They announced we are the power of the world. After that, what happened? If you see, they have almost forced the OPEC countries that sells petroleum. They said, no, you cannot sell petroleum or oil to other nations in any other currency of the dollar. That's how the idea of petrodollar came. And now, if you say that why Trump is jumping around, imposing tariff after tariff, because dollar value is decreasing. He wants to retain that. He wants to retain America as the power of the world. That is necessary. This is part of all this game. They want to control other countries. If you see that India's, we say, India has a $7 billion of reserve currency. We say it is always measured in US dollar. It is the currency of exchange for the world. So all these kind of things are happening. These are part of whole globalization game plan. And then if we see the third globalization that began after 1989, and this time is around that communist bloc like China and all Initially they said, no, we are against the globalization, we don't want the free market, we want to protect the poor, we want to put food in their plate. So let state control the economy, will not open up our market for the MNCs, multinational companies, all these things kind of a thing. But ultimately China also joined the bandwagon and now became one of the, I think, top capitalist country of the world. Then World Wide Web came, WWW, the internet. After emergence of internet, whole scenario changed. Now, tomorrow if you want to sell a product, you can go to Amazon or Flipkart, you can create a business account, list your items, you can sell. And people from even US or other countries buy your product, not only India. So almost there is no border now. So this phenomena, in short, we understand it to be globalization. So globalization is not the opposite of localization. So what is the opposite of globalization? Actually, when I was thinking about this, I also searched quite a lot in Google. What is the opposite of globalization? Then Google gave me a term, interestingly. The term is protectionism. It is not ization kind of term. So it doesn't come to our mind very easily. So this protectionism means shielding a country's domestic industries from foreign competition by taxing imports. Very interesting. Now when Trump announced 50%, 25 plus 25% tariff on Indian exports, what Modi said next interview or next speech, he said that I don't want to put my farmers in danger. Why? He specifically mentioned about farmers. Why? If you read the news and connect them, you will find America don't want anything from India. What they want India to open their agricultural market. Okay. And 50% of Indians are small time farmers their livelihood are actually coming from agriculture. Whatever 2 bighas zamin they have or 4 bighas zamin they have, they are living with that. So if tomorrow American corn comes, which is GMO by the way, genetically modified, then this livelihood of these farmers will be impacted. And also another thing, at the same time you see, ethanol, it became a very now hotly debated topic now. Some people are blaming Gadkari for saying that why 20% ethanol ban. Why government is banning ethanol? Because this is actually helping the sugarcane farmers. In South Indian states, especially Karnataka, has a lot of sugarcane production, and all Indians now trying to avoid sugar. If you go and buy a biscuit, you will see sugar free. You will pick up. We are consciously starting to avoid sugar, refined sugar. So what is happening? Sugar market is going down. So where the farmers will sell their sugarcane produce directly go to ethanol plant. They will produce ethanol out. So this will be blend. They will be blend with the petroleum products. Or even that's why America is pressurizing, because corn can be the one source of ethanol. Once corn is fermented, they can produce ethanol out. So America is trying to enter the market. So that's why they are pressurizing India. You open up your agriculture market. These all other users, whatever is coming, Russian oil buying, these are all not that kind of important issue, but issue is somewhere else. So this is a example of protectionist measures made in India. Brexit, couple of years back, maybe 4-5 years back, what Brexit happened, this is a protectionist measure. Trump's slogan, America First, this is also a protectionist measure. He wants to shield his country's economy. And if you see the entire global phenomena, if you see the protectionist measures taken since 2008, see, this is over 400, over 800. India is almost black, probably over 800. America is almost black, over 800. Russia is over 800. China is a little less, over 300. So, all world countries have taken more than 300 to 800 protectionist measures to shield their country's economy, except Africa, because they are dependent on others. They don't have their own production. So, if this is the scenario, where is globalization? When Chinese company Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo started selling phone, our own company is gone. Right? Lava, Micromax, they were doing really well. Then suddenly these brands disappeared. Then what government did? Government said that no, you can sell your product, but you have to set up company here, manufacturing line, assembly line. So now all Chinese companies have an assembly line in Delhi, Tamil Nadu. Apple recently opened assembly line in different parts of the country. So these are protectionist measures. They are saying that you sell. And Trump is also saying now the same thing. I am imposing tax so that companies will come to US, set up their manufacturing unit, and so that there will be local employment. That is his funda. And India also has been doing the same thing. They are pressurizing company, come, set up your assembly line here, so that at least 30,000-40,000 people can get employment in a single plant, assembly line. So that's how all these things are working. So this is about globalization and protectionism. But then we know that localization has not much to do with globalization. Okay. So what is localization then? Localization is a process of adapting a product to a specific market to make sure that the product looks and feels local. Looks and feels local. And localization is written as L and N. In the industry, whoever is associated with this industry, they will know this term is, we write actually, it is like L and N. Because there are 10 alphabets in between, we shorten it. And it is coming from the word local, that means a small area. And today, local is mostly used in a technical context, and it represents a specific combination of language and culture. Both are important. We have two sides of it. So, localization and translation are not the same thing. Localization digs deeper into the context and culture. Probably we can say it's a kind of adaptation, a form of adaptation, or maybe a kind of translation. We don't know exactly, because between these terms there is no clear-cut division. How much is allowed under which terminology? Little tricky. So, opposite of localization is actually internationalization. When you have a product, you want to sell it to an international market, then you have to go through the process. Actually, the process is not that simple. What they do. Suppose I have a product, let me explain it very shortly, briefly. Suppose I have a product, Indian product. I want to make it fit for international market, but there is no international market. International markets are also divided into like American market, German market, British market, like that. We have to localize our product to those markets, right? Indian product has to be localized to American market, Indian product has to be localized to British market, Indian product has to be localized to German market. But this localization process will not happen directly from Indian product to American product. What they will do, first they will kind of standardize this product a single slab, international standard kind of. Then they will again localize from that. Suppose I have a product that is available in Hindi, what I'll do, I'll not directly translate it from Hindi to German, Hindi to English, or Hindi to Italian. What I'll do, I'll translate this product to English first, the global language. Then from English it will be again translated to German, Italian, French, whatever. So that in between that English space, that is the where we call it internationalization, that standardization. So that the transition of the product will be smooth. And we write internationalization I18N because there are 18 letters. So now when we talk about localization, this is a big market. See what happens if you translate. Suppose after this program you suddenly think that okay, you have to translate or you feel like translating. But what is the career? Is there a career in translation? If you are good enough, probably you will get Shailja Jha, you will get probably some other state award, right? Shailja Jha translation award. But money is limited. You will get 30,000 or 50,000 or you are done with it. After that, probably you will be called to a couple of meetings for an extra year and then you will be honored. But honor will not be enough to live your life in a dignified way. Right? So, localization can give you actually a livelihood. You can earn your livelihood out of localization. If you take it seriously. I have data. I'll show you. And I will share my experience because I have been doing localization for last 20 years and I have been associated with some really big MNCs, product translation, product localization. So, what the question is, today if you see the data, Microsoft, Samsung, Xiaomi, Google, everybody is translating. I mean in a general sense, but everybody is localizing their product. Why? Why they are paying me for localizing their product? Why they are paying, probably will be paying you tomorrow for localizing their product? Why to spend hundreds and millions and billions of dollars? You know, 2007, Microsoft, maybe 2005 or 6, Microsoft started to localize their operating system. That time, Windows 7 was going on. Windows Vista. Windows Vista. I started with Vista. Then they launched the 7. Then 10, 8.1, then 10. All these operating systems are available in Indian language. You know, at least 11 major Indian languages plus 2. That is, one is Urdu, which they have done from Pakistan, and one is Nepali, which they have done from Nepal. So, if you add the two languages, maybe 13 languages Microsoft operating systems are available. You can change your entire computer to your own language if your language is part of that 11 languages. And a lot of people are working on those projects. So, but why localize? Why these companies are doing that? You know, because if we see the Indian language data, we may be sitting in this room, some 30, 40, 50 people, somewhat we are communicating in English, somewhat. Of course, our English is not perfect, and that is not a big thing. English is not our language, right? So for communication purpose, we have developed this skill. If you see the data, Indian census data, only 0.26 million people have listed English as their first language. And 125 million people have listed English as their second or third language. We may be falling in that category. That is less than 10% of Indian population. By by the way, that is actually more than double of the UK's population, by English speaking country, right? So what about remaining 90% people? If only 10%, less than 10% of Indian population can use English, speak English, read English to some extent, what about remaining 90% people? They are completely cut off. So the companies have to sell their product. They want more and more people to use their computers, cell phones. So what they have to do? They have to change or modify or make their product available in the local language so that they will get more buyers, consumers, etc. As simple as that. That's why they thought that probably market is saturated for English content or English product. So let's localize it. So they picked up 10 or 12 Indian languages in 2007. You see, now it is almost 20 years after. Microsoft was the pioneer in localization in Indian languages. Then Samsung joined, then Google joined, then this Xiaomi, LG, Sony, so many. Anybody is using here Samsung phone? Xiaomi phone, anybody? Go to Samsung phone, if you go to your setting, you go to your setting. You can change it, you know? You can change the language? Or that you know. Say similarly, you can change your computer language, this thing. It is called LIT, Language Interface Pack, which is freely downloadable from the Microsoft website. So, Microsoft is investing billions of dollars into product building, localization, then they are giving it for free. Why? If you want to use Samsung phone in Hindi or Xiaomi phone in Bengali, you don't have to pay 10 rupees also extra, right? It's free. Why? Because they want to push the product into a larger market. And also, what happens? Once you see, if you go to a market, something written in your own language, you feel good, right? You kind of feel a connection with the product. You feel a connection. So that's why there is a very interesting survey done by an organization, CSA, Common Sense Advisory. If you search probably you can get this report, but they are doing it, I think every 2 years like that, they keep on doing this. And they title this report as a concrete own bite. In this survey they found out that 72 or nearly 73% people say that they are more likely to buy a product for which the information is written or available in their own language. So if we see something in our own language, we feel the connect. If you are given option, probably you will choose where you can see your own language. We have a connection, emotional connection with it. So, not only understanding, but it gives you a different emotional connection.
There are people who understand it better in their language.
And that is also there.
10% people it is emotional
Yeah,
connection, but remaining 90% is different.
And also another thing is that see, if some countries what happens, this is a mandatory. In some Scandinavian countries like this Finland, Estonia and other places, but now there is a discussion or debate is going on whether it should be there in India also or not. When you open a Gmail account, when you open a Facebook account, when you open even a WhatsApp account, when you book a ticket, any kind of ticket online, you click a button, I agree to the terms and conditions. You know what you are agreeing to? You don't know. It's a some 10-page legal document, right? You only don't know, I only don't know. Still we can read and someone try to understand what it is written. You think about that 90% population who don't know how to read English. So, some Scandinavian countries, they have made it mandatory that all legal documents some product related documents should be made available in their own language. At least if somebody wants to read and understand, they can do that. India also some push was there in that direction. Fine, for board purpose, let English be the absolute, but at least to give a basic idea what they have agreed to. We don't know whether I am giving my 3 acres of Jamin to Samsung or not. I don't know, na? Because I never told. Yesterday night, our flight was cancelled today, so we have to rebook our flight. We simply clicking on I agree to this terms and conditions. I agree. We don't know what we are dealing with. So, as a consumer, as a customer, as a user, we have the right to know what we are agreeing to. That's what some parties or some human, some individuals are saying. No, there should be a law that these documents should be made available in Indian language. And when it will be enforced, what will happen? All these documents has to be localized or translated. So who will do that? People like even. By the way, so many people now talk about AI, machine translation, generative AI and all. But do you know? Okay, if I ask you to just name 2 machine translation tools, you will say Google Translate. Another you will say that probably. ChatGPT also. They use that Bing, Microsoft, this one only, yeah, Bing only for translation. Okay, and Microsoft uses ChatGPT for other AI searches. One is Bing, Microsoft, one is Google. The 2 major popular MT systems, machine translation systems are there. We all use some or other way. But you know, if Microsoft has something to be translated, what they do? If Google is doing a translation or localization to them, what they do? They will send to me or him or somebody who is. They will not use their empty systems. They want you to use. They want you to use their empty system, translate, publish paper, whatever. But when their own translation work will be there, they will hire people like me or any professional who have been there in the They don't trust their system. They want other people to use and then polish their product so that because more and more users will take their product later. This is as simple as that. Because Microsoft, Facebook, Google are running some very big localization project and they have hired hundreds of professionals in India. And I mean I was also part of some of the projects. But I know some people who are working on this. They are not using their empty systems.
They have separate database for this learning exercises.
Yeah. So what do we do in localization? We change the language, that is the normal translation thing. We change the tone of voice. In English it is you. You means it can be anything. It can be honorific, up, tum, tu, anything it can be. But in our language we will have to choose. Because if we choose up, our verb form will be different. If we choose tum, our verb form will be different. So our language structure is like that. So we choose tone of voice. Probably we will go for honorific. Then the vocabulary of course will be as per our own language. Then content that suits local sensitivities and consumption needs. We change things. Something may be derogatory in my language, which is okay for English. So I will change that in localization. I will have some examples. Also I will show you very briefly, I will show you a platform where these companies are localizing their products. Okay, I will give a demo, maybe 10 minutes demo. Design and layouts. Some languages are written from right to left, some are written from left to right. Some languages like Chinese, Japanese are traditionally written from top to bottom, but now they don't. But at least this right, left, left, right, all these things has to be taken care of, design and layout. How it will fit or not in the, because mobile phone screen or a computer screen, if you change that, whether it will look good, it will fit properly or not, everything has to be checked. Then local formats, currencies, unit of measures, dates, phone numbers, addresses, all these things has to be as per the local convenience or local conventions. So if you open the computer, sometime what happens? You see the 6/7/2025. You don't know which is month, which is date, right? I sometimes been very confused because we write date first, month, then the year. But in some American style, sometimes year will come first, 2025, 6/7. You don't know 6 is the month or 6 is the day. This is very confusing. So all these things will be done as per the local convention. In Indian market, they will only follow the date, month, and year. Then local regulation and local requirement. That's what I said. That some countries have laws that you have to make the at least bare minimum information available in the local language. Indian, I think they are trying, because I heard 2 years back only when I was part of the Xiaomi localization. So I heard that their government is pushing, but formally they have not actually kind of brought a law or something directly. But they are pushing internally. So process of localization. First the product is, first the project will be built. So they will have the English product initially, then all the strings, all the content will be pulled into a database, then they will generate an XClip file. Yesterday Winston is talking about XClip is one of the standard file format used for localization in this kind of tools. Whether it's online, offline, all kind of tools, you can use the XClip file. XClip full form is XML localization interchange file format. Full form of XClip. Then they will choose a translation platform, because these things are not done with paper and pen. These translation projects are done with the computers, not even with the phone. Mostly laptop or desktops. So they will choose a platform, and mostly now companies are moving to online platforms. Why I will show you. Yesterday he showed the Omega 3, that is an offline tool. You can load your file there, you can translate, and then you can again extract the translated file, send to somebody. But online tool, what happens? Project will be uploaded. I can sit here and access and work. Somebody else from somewhere else also can log in, work on the same. It's like a Google Doc editing, right? Multiple or Microsoft 365, what is came recently. 10 people can sit in 10 different places and started working in the same file. And also you can monitor the progress in these tools. I'll show you all this, how the tool works. Then the translation process will start. And it will be mostly done by SLV or MLV, but now it is not. SLV is single language vendor, MLV is multilingual vendor. Now it is mostly multilingual vendors are operating. They are like agencies, translation agencies. They will take up the entire project, appoint or kind of they will outsource the work to different translator, individual translator, and they will start the work. Then there will be review and QA, quality assurance. It will be done by machine as well as human, both layers. And then deployment. Then review also will happen in other level also. Like what happens? See, for example, if I have to give you an example, if you open the MS Word in your computer, what you will see? File, insert, edit, all these tabs will be there, right? Edit, insert, these words are verb or noun. If I ask you how you will translate the word edit in the Microsoft Word, the ribbon is there, not top. how will you read it? How will you translate? There is a tab called edit. You know, view. These all tabs are there. You must be your computer must be open, right? How will you translate? Then edit into Hindi. Sudhar. What is the common term for editing? Edit. Sampadan. Yeah, sampadana. Something. Sampadan. Sampadan is the noun form.
It can play a role of verb as well as
Correct.
That is a different thing that in Hindi, but the structure is noun plus something.
Yeah.
That makes verb. But Sampadan as such is a noun.
Yeah.
And it has a gender also.
Yeah.
The gender
Gender is a noun. So, Assamese there is no gender thing, but Assamese also, if I have to make it a verb, I have to write that karok. Bengali also will be similar. All Indian languages, it will be two words. Sampadan, kare, yeah, karok, so be it. So what happens now? When I go to the tab, I find the word edit and I have to localize it to my language. My first problem starts. If I write it as a Sampadan kare, there is not enough space to put the two words. Right? If you go to your mobile phone, you set a cancel. There is a button OK one side cancel. Cancel you translate to Hindi. बातिल करे ऐसे ही कुछ होगा बातिल करे या करो जो भी हो कुछ होगा. So we have two words in most of our Indian languages. It is two words. So the two words doesn't fit there because button is so small, and also there is a kind of aesthetics also coming to play. Because one side OK is a small word, so button will be small. Other side if you make the button bigger, it will look bad. The size of the both button has to be same aesthetically. So these are the problems. So these all will be checked here. Whether sometimes English will be only 2 words or 4 alphabets. Our it is 10 alphabets, 10 characters. So all these things will be checked, and whether it is properly fitting the button or not, or whether there is a truncation issue. Sometimes half will be displayed, half will get cut. All these things will be tested before deployment. There will be physical testing. It will be installed. The beta software, beta testing they say, it will be installed. We will use that device, see that buttons are working or not, display is fine or not. Conjunct letters in Indian, like those conjunct letters is a big headache for these companies. And another issue is that punctuation. Punctuation is another it's a bone of contention actually among all the people who are a part of this industry. What happened when you are actually working in this vista localization? What happened? This one company from Indore, Webdunia, they tied up with Microsoft and us, and they are also partners. So there is a kind of one day there is a kind of request that Hindi is using full stop. Hindi अभी भी full stop use करते हैं ना, sentence ending marker. Traditionally दारी.
Marathi.
No, traditionally Punogram, I know. But I think in some modern texts and all newspapers and all, they started using dot.
It's a bit not codified now. Actually now the word is, the language is now being developed as a codified language. So then we don't apply it. The way
Sir, I will not get into that, codified or not. I'll tell you why it is being done. We had a huge mail trailing. I think it will still be in my inbox. I may not have deleted this mail. We had a big fight with the thing. They said that no, Hindi is using dot. Tamil traditionally has been using dot, so they had no issue. Then they said no, you all use dot for Indian language. Then Assamese, Bengali, Punjabi, and Odia. We said no, we are not going to do that. At least officially we are not going to do that. If you want to do it at your end, but we will not write it. I mean, we will not allow you formally from our side to do that. Then they said no, they are almost like pleading us, saying that no, if 10 Indian language will stop and 4 Indian language still continue to use Dari, Punaviram, it will double our programming work. It has to be programmed separately, code has to be written again. So our work will be much more. So please agree. Ultimately, we begin again. So if you see the Microsoft text content, still you will find Dari at least in this code language. But coming to such thing, codified or not codified, but I believe now what is happening, especially in newspaper industry, they started using dot in Hindi. I saw, or printing industry. Why they do? It is not about codifying, loving, whether it is loving the language, not loving the language. Those kind of things doesn't come. It's pure business. Printing a dot requires less ink. Printing a Dari requires at least 10 times more ink. And you imagine in a book that is being printed for 1 lakh copy, how much ink, more ink you will be using? So they are saving money by using a dot. Not that. It's all about economy. Economy will decide what to do with our language or not. Yeah, he may be telling it as a kind of codifying or something in a police term, but underlying market thinking is that Dari requires more ink, means more cost. Dot requires less ink, so less cost. Less cost means more work. As simple as that. So then, while doing localization, we also develop a style guide, style sheet, some people say, but short form we call also ADC. Here, what we do? Style guide, we will first lay down all the basic rules. What are the rules that will be followed? Like this only, punctuation mark, which punctuation mark I am using. All these things will be written down in the style guide. Then we will develop a term list or a term bank. It's a kind of at least 2,000 to 3,000 common words, common technical words. Like for if I am working in a Microsoft or a mobile product, then I file, save, edit, all those terms will be extracted and will make a database of around 1,500, 2,000 or sometimes 2,000 words. And these terms will be used everywhere. It's not like a poem that you cannot repeat the term here, right? You have to repeat the term. In one place you are writing something and another place you are writing another term for the same English word. The system will crash. You are not able to identify that word. Then there will be a translation process. Then there will be a different level. At different level there will be a QA and review. Then there will be actually physical testing. It will be installed in the device, beta versions or alpha versions, whatever, and it will be tested by users. And then, after the testing and all, whatever issue that comes, they call it bug. They call it bug. Now there is a common platform, they call it Jira. It's a third-party platform, Jira. You can actually record your bug into the Jira website and you can resolve it. It's a third-party platform. This is also kind of, everything is a decentralized kind of thing. See, if we take this sentence, on 6/16/2025, the cost of £2 apple is $4. So if we have to localize this line, string, we don't call it line or sentence, we call it string. Yesterday Muskan also used that word string. String can be anything, it may be a single word, it may be a double word, or it may be even a sentence, or it may be also sometimes can be a combination of multiple sentences. So this unit is called string in localization. So if we have to localize this string, what changes will we make? Date format will change.
$24 to the respective currency.
Currency will change. Maybe weight measurement will change. And in some language, maybe not Hindi, but the Assamese or Bengali, Odia or Punjabi will change this dot to Punjabi. So maybe something like this. Yeah. So I'll not get into that. That we actually discussed. So yesterday we talked about CAT tools, computer aided translation or computer assisted translation. This is not machine translation, okay? MP is different, CAT is different. Here you need a human being to operate the CAT tools. I'll show you online CAT tools maybe after my this talk. So these CAT tools, if you open, you will find different features and functions. It will have a TM, means translation memory. The people who use it, we never call it translation memory. We always call TM. We call TB only. Congress. We never actually call Congress. So short forms are more used in this industry. Then segmentation. Yesterday he showed how segmentation is done. Matching. We is talking about fuzzy matching yesterday. Means the tool will determine how similar the sentence you are about to translate is matching with the sentence you have translated previously. I'll show you those things also. I'll show you that. Then quality assurance. The machine will run a quality assurance, quality check. The tool only will run and show you if you are missing some comma or some extra space. If you are putting two spaces, or if there is any programming code, because there will be a lot of variables, they will have a code. Like for example, I'll give you an example. What is variable code? Like update my system after 4 days. Okay, probably in your computer we can find something like that. Update the system in every 4 days or something. But that 4 can be variable sometimes. You can choose update the system after 5 days, update the system after 6 days, update the system after 7 days. It is 6. The number is a variable. So what they will do? They will not translate all the sentence. I said you now 5 or 6 sentences, right? They will translate only one sentence. Like he was telling yesterday. Only one small change should be there. They will, and that number they will put as a variable, and that will be represented by a code. I'll show you that code also. I'll show you programming code. So only one sentence will be translated, and once that is fed into the system, it will automatically change. If you put 5, if you put 6, if you put 7, whatever you choose, it will work. So all these quality assurance, then variables also will be checked. Whether you are copying the variable properly or not, in proper positions or not. Then statistical data generation. We were showing that yesterday. We can see the word count. You have 5,000 words to translate. It will also show how much you have done it, how much character you type. Everything will show. Then machine translation, of course, you can use machine translation features within the CAT tool. You don't have to go to Google Translate or Bing Translate, then copy paste, do that. You don't have to do that. Directly from the CAT tool, you can use MT if you want to. And then the post production. You are showing that we can get the same kind of formatting as the original. So these are some examples. Omega T, which you have seen yesterday. Deja Vu, WordFast, these are offline tools. You have to get the exe file, then download it. If you download these tools, you will get the exe file. You have to install in your system. But interestingly, except Omega T, none of the translation CAT tools are free. You have to pay for the license, and this really costs you a bomb. if you want to buy the Credos studio, it will cost you more than a lakh. Okay. Maybe single user license for 1 year, if you want to buy, maybe somewhere around like 10,000, maybe you make it. But studio version, with a multiple user kind of features, you have to pay more than a lakh.
This is Omega T is free.
Omega is free, yeah. Credos is originally developed by SDL, but now SDL is no more there. It is acquired by this one, RSW. RSW Moravia. RSW Moravia has acquired SDL. RWS Moravia has acquired SDL. But still it is known as SDL Credos, one of the most popular tools. I would have shown you, but I thought that I don't have installed, it is not installed in my laptop, I have in my desktop is installed. But after it will be too much technical to show. So I thought that I will show you another online tool. Because I showed the offline tool, I will show you online tool. Then Pasada and all, these are really too expensive. By the way, if I buy 1 lakh rupees tool, I am not mad, right? When I will buy a 1 lakh rupees tool? If the tool assured me to earn back at least 5 lakh rupees, I am not a fool. Right? If I am investing 1 lakh rupees to buy a translation tool, CAT tool, I have to be sure that I can earn back at least 4 or 5 lakh rupees out of that tool by using the tool. So that means people are earning. Otherwise, they will not have bought these tools. I have license for this Credos. So this is a screenshot of the Credo. Then there are some online tools. They call it Localization Management System, LMS. Crowdin is there, XTM is there, MemSource, and there are so many of them. This is Crowdin. I'll show you this Crowdin live. So localization as career. I believe translation, by doing translation, in the beginning also I said, we can actually earn our life. What is your opinion? Do you think that in India people can live only by doing translation and localization? No, I'll show you the data. I have some data. How much, I said, see, if you translate a book, you may get Sahitya Academy, translation award, or you may get some state award, this and that and all. But the money you will get by doing that, or doing a piece of translation piece, getting it published in a newspaper or a magazine, you will get some 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 like that, right? That is not enough to live a life, at least in a dignified way. But if we talk about localization, now there are so many other things like dubbing, subtitling, all kind of things are now up and down. And I can assure you, forget about Hindi, even in some smaller languages in India now, it is possible to take translation effectively. I have that, I will show you. I am not blaming simply. Maybe we will come to this later, we will come back. Let's see what is the size of the localization industry globally. This chart I have taken from Statista. According to that, estimation is that in 2021, the global localization industry size is $47.46 billion US. In Indian currency, I try to do it something like it is nearly 4 lakh crore. That is more than India's 2 months GST collection. 1.8, 1.9 it reach GST collection. This is a huge amount of money. Global market. This is one estimation. Okay. I'll show you another estimation, how similar it is. These are not proved. So, industry size is this much, that means companies are spending this much of money and translators or language professionals are earning this much of money. Of course, they not all are translating, some are managing projects, some are dubbing artists. There are different roles in the industry. This is another estimation by CSA I mentioned about Common Sense Advisory. This is a market research group. According to their estimation, it is 56.18, which is more than 4.5 lakh crore. This is a huge amount of money being earned by people who are associated with translation, localization. They may be doing direct translation, some may be editing, some may be reviewing, different types of jobs. But yeah, people associated with this localization industry are earning this much of money per year. So what about Indian market? This is global market. Indian market we don't have much data because I always say, I mean, very jokingly, in India, I searched it up, Glassdoor, all Google search I have done, and there is not much data available because traditionally it is said that in India, don't ask a gentleman about his salary, don't ask a lady about her age. Traditionally we say. That's why most of the people in India don't want to disclose their earning. Salary everybody knows, but if some people are earning extra from somewhere, they will not disclose. So no more data is there, but it can be estimated as 2.5 billion, that is 20,000 plus crore rupees, is the size of Indian localization market today, not today, 2024, last year. And it was like that. Almost started, you see, 2007 when I was talking about, Microsoft started localizing their product. It is starting. And it is growing like this. So the funda is this 20,000 crore right now, every year people associated with translation and localization are earning in India, and I am sure that this can actually create a livelihood for young professionals, especially the language student, because language students always have a what should I say, always have that in the back of their mind, okay, what I will do after my post-graduation or my PhD, because everybody wants to go into teaching or something, but yeah, it is not possible for everybody to become a professor or a teacher, right? So we have to get into different kind of line or different kind of role we have to take over. So this can be one of the options. I am not saying tomorrow you all became translator. I am not saying that. Maybe some of you will be going to teaching, but some of you can also consider this as an option. Or even if you are in a different job, you can give couple of hours in a day if you have interest, and you can earn some extra money. Even when you are studying, you can give 1 hour in a day, 7 hours in a week, and you can earn some extra bucks. And slowly you will see that your earnings are increasing. With your experience growing, your earning also will grow. Companies will be after you once you establish yourself. We'll come back to the previous slide. Can localization be in a career? Suppose you want to try it out. What you should do? You have 3 options. One is there are some portals. Close.com, Translators Cafe, Translation Directory. These are translation portals. These are just like Facebook. In Facebook, you create your profile, you put a picture, you write about yourself, right? So you can go to this portal and create your own profile. You put your picture, that also you can do. You write your name, you write your language pair, like Hindi, English or English, Hindi, Hindi, Bengali, whatever. You write your rates, how much you would like to receive for translation, or hourly basis, how much you want, or word basis, how much you want, everything you can list down here and create it. And what is your availability? Suppose you are only available for 1 hour in a day, that also you can do. Okay, 10 hours in a week I am available. And what is your technical capability? Which font you would like to use? Unicode, non-Unicode, all these things you can, all information you can provide and create a profile. And you will start receiving some mails. If some company posts job there, actually you will get a lot of mails, every day you will get mails. And if you are interested, you can write back to those companies and try to get the project. So that is one option. Number 2 option, you go to the MLG's website. Lion India, SDN India, RSW Moravia, Middlesex, Meritlam, Master, these are all Indian translation. Now, these are international agencies, but they have office in India. So you go to their website, they also will have a tab in their website. Register as a translator. You register yourself, provide all your details, and when they will have some work, so they will contact you. But interestingly, nobody will give you a job just like that. You will have to go through a sample translation and it will be reviewed. People usually think that, oh, somebody sitting in America, what they will know about Assamese? They don't know Assamese. So I will simply write something and send. I need American dollar. No, it doesn't work. Don't cheat. Once you try to cheat, they will catch you and you will never get work from them. So you should give 100%. You should not think that they will not know Hindi, so let me write something or something. No, this is not the way. They will get your sample checked or reviewed multiple times. Once it will be a blind review. Nobody knows which translation it is and who is reviewing. So your translation will be marked. There will be number. There will be marks. How much out of 10? How much you are getting? In different parameters. Your language style, your spelling, your typing, your expression. All these things will be done. Even there, if there is a programming tag, whether you are doing it correctly or not. See, for example, we say 2 of 4. When we flip a page, we say 2 of 4, 2 of 3 of 4, 1 of 4, like that. Now, but in our language, 4 will come first, right? 4 में 4 का 1 या 4 में 1 जो भी हो, 4 में 1. So those things have to change in localization. If you are not doing correctly, you will call and you are not going to get any job from these companies.
So like reviewed is any social media platform? Like any social media platform, the language
No, see, social media platform, you can write anything in social media platform. This will not be considered as an answer. But if you suppose want to set up a project from Facebook or a WhatsApp or a Meta, so they will send you a sample. They will send you. Then you translate, send back to them by email. Then what they will do, whatever sample you send, they will send to reviewer who are expert in your language. Then these people will check your file and rate you out of 10, whether it is 8, 7 or 9 or whatever. Then as per the rating, they will consider whether to give you a job, translation job or not.
It can be machine assisted translation.
See, it is up to you. You can send simply a Google translation, you can copy paste and send also. But everybody knows now, right? That is not the way. If you give the same, copy the same translation as the Google translator offering, why one should pay you? Unless you have some unique thing to offer, right? Nobody will pay you now unless you have some unique offer. So this localization market I am talking about, it is actually is going to grow. People, there will be a group of people who will say that no, machine will take over because of the machine translation or AI, but I will not completely agree. At least for next 10 years, no, machine will not be able to replace human being. AI will not be able to replace human being, at least for next 10 years. Even after 10 years, because we are a multicultural, multilingual society, so I don't see it. Even AI is deployed in different kind of translation work or language related work. Human beings intervention will be needed some or other way. So, and NEP also, the new education policy 2020, it also emphasizes on mother tongue education. So there are a lot of work has been going on to write or translate textbooks in Indian language. So this is another kind of work, and I can assure you, you can always ask me where is the work. You can't see it. Yeah, this is the invisible industry. Nobody would like to talk about it. Why I should talk? I am earning nicely amount of it. Why I should share my income with you? Because I am, suppose I and you work in the same language. I am introducing you to the market, means tomorrow you will also take share from my earning, right? So I will keep you in that. So that's why nobody would like to talk about this industry. At least the people who are reaping the benefits of industry would not like to talk about it. We will not see many people who is actually will be telling in a public forum how to get into it, where you can find jobs. Nobody will tell you. They all wanted to keep it a secret. Nobody will tell you how much you are earning. But if you ask me to give an estimate, actually there is a survey in US. How much a translator can earn? There is a survey in US, and the survey says that approximately $55,000 per annum. That is almost equivalent to the salary. It was like some 7 to 10 years back. This survey. So, what is the $55,000 per annum means? In US, that is almost equivalent to a salary of a middle school teacher's salary in US. So, if today you ask me how much a professional translator in India can earn, if you ask me that question, I don't have a complete figure to give you, but I can assure you, if you are serious enough, if you are good enough, if you are good in your language, if you are disciplined enough, you can earn at least the salary of a school teacher, high school teacher. But if you are good enough, if you are brilliant, there is no limit. Lakh rupees, 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh. I know my friends, yeah, because I am in another field. I am into academics also partially, but I do localization also. I tied up with Xiaomi for last more than 10 years. I have been with them. I work for Samsung, I work for Google, but I am not kind of very only into that. But the people who are only concentrating on that field, they can earn easily another 2.5 lakh. And there is a steady flow of projects. It is not like that this month there are work, next month there is no such kind of scenario now. At least in major Indian languages. Yeah, probably Santali, there will be less work. Dogri, there will be less work. But languages like Hindi, lot of work. But Hindi also there are a lot of translations. That is one problem. But language like Assamese, Kannada, Tamil has a lot of translators. But if somebody really good enough, they are professional, they are disciplined, the good translator, some of my friends, they earn beyond 2 lakh. And that is a good amount of money. So, this is going to grow, this market is going to grow. It is not that it is ending tomorrow. I said you that Microsoft, Google, if they have to do translation or localization for their own product, they are not going to use that. They are, at least for now, they are not using their empty tools. They are employing human being, language professionals. So this cycle will continue. You don't have to be worried. We'll skip this, and this is the last slide. Then I will show you the tool briefly. The good, bad, and ugly of this industry. The industry is fragmented. Nobody knows what is happening, who is doing what. It is like an iceberg. The tip only you can see. Whatever is below the water level, you will not see. And nobody will tell you how much they are earning. Unless you see the tax filing or something or whatever, you will not know. Then low penetration of computer and internet, that is there. Actually, there are surveys saying that only less than 10% of Indian population have access to computers, not mobile device of course. Computers, content creation device, they call it. Mobile is content consumption device. Less than 10% of Indian population have access to that kind of devices. Lack of universal standard for scripts and fonts, this is a big problem. Another big problem, yesterday also you have seen, is not able to display the Khmer font. This has happened with almost all of us. Somebody typed a file in their own language and first will see box. This is still there. So we have to work on that front, especially Indian language font. Then lack of formal language-based IT training. In India, still that trend is there, even in central universities, cities. People think that you are a student of language, why you need to learn computers, right? This is there. Oh, you are an art student, why you need a laptop? This mental that build-up is still there. I think all universities should offer at least 4 to 5 credit course for all students. We all should learn computer, how to use technology, how to use tools. Whether we are art student, science student, doesn't matter. So this is the need of the time. All college and universities should introduce technology course, at least 4 to 6 credit course for all students. And no accreditation process for translation companies. Now, you will say tomorrow, I am a translator. How do I know you are a translator? Is there any system which will find out whether you are capable of translating or not? Is there any certification? No, we need actually that kind of system. So once I will share you one of the experience what happened. That Huawei, you know now, Huawei is a Chinese company. Why is banned now? Google is not giving their Android to Huawei, so that Huawei is now out of the market, non-Chinese markets. They introduced some phones, Honor, H-O-N-E-R, Honor phones and all come from Huawei. So once they started localizing in India, then they approached me, see, we are doing a project in India, can you monitor our project? And I said, okay, tell me what exactly I have to do. What they have done, they started a crowdsourcing project. That time the word crowdsourcing was very popular. Some 7-8 years back. No, maybe little more than that, maybe 9-10 years. So they are hosting the translation project in a platform, grounding platform, and they are inviting people to translate, community to translate, contribute, free, no payment, crowdsourcing, voluntarily people are contributing. But what they are doing, if you provide 10 string translation, they will give you some kind of gift. If you are translating 1000 string, they will probably give you a pen drive, their own company. If you are translating 10,000 strings, probably they will give you a mobile phone, like that. Okay, so what happened? So many people started contributing. So they said that kindly monitor this. So many people are contributing. When I saw the quality of the translation, it was horrible. What people are doing, because you have to do 100 string string or 1000 string to get a here, you will simply type enter. Go to the next. Who knows? Who will check that whether you are typing something or not? Machine will only say that we have done one string. So majority of translation was like that. Then I wrote to them, see, these are not some mistakes. This doesn't mean anything, doesn't make any sense. So kindly, either you have to stop or then they stop it. So that's how sometimes community behaves. For them, gift is important, not their language. So as a translator, if we have to establish ourselves as a serious translator, we have to be professional. We should not think about cheating somebody. We are cheating somebody definitely, but we are also cheating ourselves, our language. So we have to be cautious about that. And your reputation will be built over time, not overnight. By doing simply one job, your reputation will not be solid. So then there will be non-payment sometime. Because the translation companies operate in a very mysterious way. Somebody will send you a mail from the Delhi. You are sitting here in near Patna. You have done your work, sent to them via mail, and they are not paying you. What you do? You cannot go and search in Delhi and find out their office. You don't know whether they have office or not. So you have to be careful. You should see whether they have ISO certification, whether they have proper registration, whether they have a proper website. All these things, or user review will be there, translator's review will be there. So all these things you can Google search. So I'll skip this part. The industry is growing in a very high rate. Then government initiatives are there. A lot of work for translation under NEP also. A lot of this additional material is being prepared in Indian languages. Then internet users are increasing, number of internet users. And if you see, demand for multilingual content is increasing. If you see that there is an estimation that 49% written content in the web is in English. And Spanish in the second with 6%, maybe Russian will be 5.something% or so. Hindi is over there. There is an estimation saying that Estonian language has more content than Hindi. Estonia is maybe 1 million population country in the Scandinavian region. They have more content in their language than Hindi. So, but this will come up. This is coming up actually now. If we see this, see that's what Google have been telling. English is over. There are only 200 million Indians who are proficient in English are already in the internet. So if they have to increase their user base, they have to start working in Indian language. So that's already happening. So that's why I said that possibly if you like to do translation or if you want to try out as a profession, I'm not saying leave everything and start translating. No, that's also I will not suggest. But if you think that you can give 1 hour in a day, 10 hours in a week, maybe you can try out, see where it goes. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, then also okay. But for that, you have to learn language skills. You have to know your language better. So that's where we'll end this. Give a full presentation on something. This is because this talk came about, right? This topic, you started speaking like, what about our languages? We have so much population, and so it's not the presentation that I had shared yesterday, that is with you all, but this is another presentation in which, like that point I have made, right, about some things that you people have been discussing, like saying that, why so much, like we are the biggest democracy, we have so much population, and why, our languages are not there. So this was one of the surveys, the KPMG survey, right, done in collaboration with Google in 2016. It was done, and the results were out by 2017. Right, so they estimated like this, right? Top one is, of course, different. Right, so Indian languages, at least like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 of them are there in the top 25 languages of the world, right? So you know where we should be reaching and where we are, right? Like that is the thing. So in terms of population, right, speakers, then they have estimated, right, Indian languages defining India's internet. That is the study by KPMG in India and Google, right? So the user language base, you see, user base, 234 million in 2016. And they were expecting by 2021, it will be 536 millions. But we actually crossed more than that. Because in between COVID came, then people had to access like, everything from home. And they started using Indian languages more. Now you, at least like, that level you will know that if you pay something through Paytm or something like that, you will hear your language. Right, that this much money has been received, right, in your language, right, mostly wherever you are, like in Karnataka, we'll hear it in Kannada, right? Amitabh Bachchan's voice also comes, like that. So we get those things, right? So they said, right, in that, at that time, 2017, Hindi internet user base, right, is likely to outgrow English, okay? User base by 2021 in Indian context, right, Indian subcontinent, right, and Marathi and Bengali users will divide the volume growth, right, Tamil, Kannada and Telugu users will be among the most digitally engaged through 2016 to 2021. In fact, we have crossed much more. We have got more platforms like Quora and other things, like where people write in our own languages, and we have a lot of this AI tools nowadays, right, for them to write in Indian language. So many people are, what they are doing at that time, when they had to type a string and earn a, mobile phone or something like that, they had simply typed anything in Assamese, like, change the font and do. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. You can actually put a AI translation there, right? Even if you don't know the language, you can pretend to be an Assamese speaker and, put those translations there and try to earn it. So those kind of things have grown. So now, even in Quora, many or Wikipedia, like that and all. Wikipedia, of course, don't pay. In Quora, because they want more followers, right, to follow, or in Facebook, more followers to follow in Indian languages, they'll take any article from other languages and they'll just use one of these AI tools and put it in your own language, right? So there are readers for that, and most of these AI tools are like quite readable. They produce a readable content, and you are able to, right, use it. So the native language speakers, they may feel slightly uncomfortable reading that, but still they are okay that the information is available to them in their own language, right? So we are actually going in that platform, in those kind of, we are progressing like that in that area, right? So we know the government push, right, towards this, right, in digital India, like what India is trying to do. By using internet, we have been able to identify applications that would move governance. Like, so we are trying to introduce more of these things in governance, right? Indian languages, like NEP, he has already talked about. We brought home languages to the education scenario. So translation and all those things are happening everywhere, right? Google, for instance, had this particular project called Next Billion Users. Okay, so they were thinking that, okay, they had reached that one particular level, then the next billion users will be, who are they, right? Everyone, no matter their language, location, digital literacy, deserves an internet that was made for them. So they will look at people, right, who have like, next billion users and new billion users also. They have, right, new internet users. People who have got, like, moved from a feature phone to smartphone, right? They've just moved, right? And so they want access, like, in their own languages, right? So they moved from the feature phone, like this button phones, to, like, smartphones, right? Elderly people who want, who watch the entire day YouTube videos on different things, people like that, right? And children who are now looking at, their classes, like, going for their classes, everything in those languages. So all these people, right, would prefer, they thought, right, the local languages, right? Local languages will be more helpful to them. So they had these kind of categories with which they approached, right? So we'll see more and more, Indian languages definitely coming into this arena, right? You are going to see that, right? Nobody is stopping it. But this is one area of concern that I want to share with you. Like some of you have, sharing that kind of concern, right? See, this was list of Wikipedias, right? From their meta page that like in 2021, right? I have a recent this thing also table, but that is like I couldn't locate it now immediately, like because you people are discussing it. Then. See, among the languages we know 25 languages, top 25 languages, some 7-8 Indian languages are there, right? We saw that. Now, in Wikipedia pages, total number of Wikipedia articles in 2021, you see English tops, fine. Second is Cebuana, which is a Philippines, like, Philippine, which is spoken in Philippine, right? That is the second most. There's another reason for that, why that is second. And among the languages that, like, we will be mostly familiar with, Urdu comes at 54th page, like 54th rank, right? Population-wise rank, Urdu is 10, whereas Cebuana is 78, right? It is far below that, but it is second, okay? Then Urdu, after Urdu, you see Hindi. Population-wise, the third most spoken language, right? Used language, right? But it is in 57th rank. The number of Wikipedia pages, if you see, it is in 57th rank. Tamil, you see, it is population-wise, it is 17th, right? Sorry, population-wise, 17, right? And Wikipedia articles, just 2 spaces below Hindi and 5 below Urdu, right? So it is actually a matter of, how you actually use your language. Why you want to, like, how you contribute to your language, right? It is in your hands, right? Even with a mobile, you can contribute a lot, right? So this is only Wikipedia. Of course, Wikipedia is used by only a small set of people who are into academics, or nowadays Wikipedia has modified its thing also. Like if you search for any definition in Google, right, they will give you a Wikipedia definition. If you search in Google, the immediate response will come. The definition will come from a Wikipedia page. So Wikipedia also is restructuring its content, right, so that the search engines, it is better optimized for search engines to find your data. So that is available in your languages also, right? The way you create your pages now, right? So that will come in your languages also. So more definitions will be now, like nowadays you will say like, okay, translated, right? Show the original, like that, those things will come. But actually what you have directly written in your language also may come, if you have given it, if you have already produced those kind of knowledge to Wikipedia, right? So there is a space. Wikipedia is one place, people who have not begun any translation yet, right, and who are like far from touching a literary text for translation, or trying to localize anything, you can pick up a Wikipedia page, right? Find out an article that is not there in your language, for any world languages, right? Not just like our like Indian languages I am talking about, any of your languages, right? If a particular topic is not there in your language Wikipedia, you can actually take up that and translate it and put it on the Wikipedia thing. Nobody is going to scold you or say that your translation is completely wrong or something like that. If it gets discarded, it gets discarded. There are moderators who will try to interact with you. There are people who will correct those things. In Wikipedia, they'll correct those things. Wikipedia, in fact, in Indian context and all, in many universities, they ran workshops, trying to create awareness, right, for people, and like people to get involved, students to get involved, right, those kind of things. They created content like that initially. So yeah, that's one. I'm fine with this, right? So Wikipedia articles you can start translating. Right? There is a sandbox, they'll teach you how to do those things. You can easily translate those things. and other people will contribute and correct it and make it better, right? And if it is, completely like useless or something, then they may probably suggest you that, okay, we'll have to do away with this content, right? So Wikipedia is a place that you can start with, right? But in this case, you see, right, this is how Indian languages fared in Wikipedia rankings, right? So how much more can we do, right? One of the reasons, like because we have been talking about Hindi especially, one of the reasons, like, this representation, Hindi representation is low, because we have more Hindi second language speakers, let's say, right? The number will be more, and those people, they are consumers of the language, but they don't produce anything in that language. They'll be watching throughout the day, like, videos and film songs and listening to all those things, but they are not writing anything in Hindi. Okay, you got my point. So in that sense, the consumer base is very big, but the contributors base is very less. So who can contribute? People who can write in that language, and write better. It will, reflect in the quality of work, and the language will have better contributions from you, and the language will grow up in this kind of charts. It is in your hands, right? For any of your language, right? The Cebuana case alone is different because at one point somebody used a bot, something that automatically produces translation, and it created all these, bots. Like it was like unchecked at that time. That came up like this. So you'll find a lot about French articles about French communes in Cebuana, which nobody reads. And if you really search for some particular subject in Cebuana Wikipedia, it will be difficult to find it because it is crowded with so much unwanted material, like people who the topics that you don't want to read, right? So that kind of problems are there. But by that only, like, it has come to that second position. But otherwise, Indian language contributions are. See, I'll show you one more thing, because we are. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, the problem, right? Because like Biswa already talked about this, right? Delayed arrival and permeation of technology in European languages, right? They could type and they could, do speech to text. All those things were already available, so they were using their languages more. We started doing those things late, right? So, like this. Then, see, Wikipedia had a project Tiger, right? One like project where people will, like, it's a contest, right? That was also done in collaboration with Google, right? They launched like in between every 2-3 years they'll have this project Tiger contest, right? Where people will contribute. Again, you see, like, the languages that have a fast pace, like, growth. Those languages contributors only are more in those languages. So it is Tamil, Bengali, Urdu, right? All those things, right? Those languages. So it is for you to contribute in those things. I'll skip this and I'll come to the actual presentation that was shared with you yesterday. Okay. Okay. No, because I'll have to change. I'll use this. Okay. We were talking about this target text editing. So that is our topic. So we'll see what happens. One more thing that you people are discussing and Biswa has been expressing again and again, there should be a mechanism. There should be a mechanism. He said so many times, right? We want a mechanism to check, right, what is actually happening and why it should happen. I'll tell you why. Especially after the coming of AI, we need more of that kind of mechanism than has happened. So the industry context was like this, right? Now you see, because many of you are into literary translations, industry has this kind of classification. One is people who are doing this literary and academic translations. Like I said yesterday, it's like a cottage industry. People who know each other, collaborate with each other to produce. Like I am a publisher, right? I have read a book and I know that it is very good, like or something like this. I want to bring it into my language. I'll approach a scholar friend of mine or somebody who is good at that language, and she will translate it for me, and I'll publish that book, right? And she also won't expect any money from me. I also won't expect any money from the market, because like it is my desire to bring that work into my language, right? So I'll get some sponsors or something like that, and I'll go ahead with it. So that, like, but in a higher setup, like in setups like Penguin and all those people who are professionally doing it, they'll have this setup like sourcing editors, commissioning editors, literary agents, translators, right? So literary agents is a big job now. Like Tamil Nadu government and all is trying to train people to become literary agents, and they are having international book fairs, right? Where, see, many of our local language, people who write in local language, they don't know how to take their product, right, to world languages, right? Where there is a big market for Indian language, writings, but there is no connection, right, with those people. So people are getting trained as literary agents for Indian language, right, like products, right, Indian language authors, right? They are trying to connect with them, and so there are a lot of things. Then translators, editors, all these people are there, right? Then the localization industry is the like where you get the remuneration, right? You can earn a living, right? So here this kind of people are there, right? Then subtitling is another one, because we have this Netflix and other things are, OTT platforms are there. See, and because this is an industry, you get this, ISO certification coming in there, okay? ISO certification, like somebody wanted to set up a company and, yeah, wanted to do, so ISO, there is an ISO certification for personal training and translation services providers, like all these things, for each of these things. So because like if you are establishing a multinational company, you will be following all these processes, right, in that. So ISO 17100, right, we will have to have 3 phases, right, in that company. Like if you are taking a translation project, right, there will be pre-production phase, production phase, post-production phase, right, and you will do your work, right, for multinational companies, right, because you are going to, like, you have got this material from a multinational company and you are passing it on to them, right, that kind of, so international business exchanges, right. So in that, right, 4 key clauses. One is you have to get the right kind of people for the work, right, so they should have the right qualification and competencies, and this is not just like the paper qualification. We will get many people who are PhDs and other things, and but even in translation studies, people who have earned PhDs in translation without doing a single page of translation, right, because you can analyze translation and create a thesis and do that. You don't have to actually have done that. So paper qualification is not there, but you have to show your competence through your samples, right. You have to pass a test. For instance, some of these Google vendors, they'll have a test where if it's a 1,000-word, this thing like material, then you can make 3 mistakes in it maximum. 3 mistakes, not more than that. If you are like fail that, then you are not selected. That kind of, they'll have things. Then there is pre-production and production process, okay. So the translation, there are 3 processes, and production process and post-production process is where the production process is where translation comes into play. So translation does, like these translation service providers, when you start a company like this and you are running a company like this, your work doesn't start with translation. In localization work, it doesn't start with translation, right, it starts with the project management, right. So there are a lot of all those people, MBAs involved, who will earn more money than the actual translator who does the work, who localizes the product, right. So that is a big thing. You have to create glossaries, you have to divide the content properly, right, and all those things. right? You have to check for its consistency, many other things you have to produce. Then in production phase, you have these roles: translation, check, revision, review, proofreading. Like after a long this thing, we have got these processes now into NTM and all, right? If you are like, we are doing work for many like government establishments, and we are translating their material, but we do all these things, right? We have like now established these roles in NTM also, right, for any project. So this is how we do. So in the localization, the main thing is, right, suitability.